Hi and welcome to Dynamic DCUO. Wind here, and today we're going to be looking at how to make money on the broker for legendary members. And we're going to be looking at several ways, but we're going to start with time capsules, resurgent capsules, and booster bundles. So first off, you want to be running your stabilizer run every day from your event menu. That way you can build up stabilizers. You get one every 3 days from running. You need the stabilizers to open up the time capsules and 7 to open up resurgence capsules. Plus you can sell the regular time capsules, especially during the first few days. They're worth a lot of money. So resurgence capsules and booster bundles give you a large item to sell, like an aura or a material, but also the resurgent capsule gives you 9 other time capsules to open, which gives you additional items to sell, so they are particularly great. Now you always want to check everything on the broker, but especially the big ticket items. They're usually worth more the first few days, and then after they're not available, like when the resurgent capsule is no longer dropping. And as you see here, this one is selling for around $8 million. Doesn't mean I have to list it for that. I can very easily, sell it for $6 million if I'm trying to get rid of it quicker, $5 million. But in this case, I'm going to keep it until later, probably a couple of months. So now we're going to look at the time capsules that came from the resurgent capsule, and this will apply to all time capsules that you open. You definitely want to check everything on the broker because you're always going to get a piece of armor, and armor is always worth money, usually $800K to $1.5 million for the small items, and the big items go anywhere from $2 million to $6 million, big items being the head, chest, and back. But you always want to look at your collections, you always want to look at your emblems, because as you'll notice with this first one, I get lucky, and my collection is actually worth a good bit of money. Now, sometimes you need to unclick the usable by me to see the collections, because if you've absorbed a collection, it won't show up again in the list unless you uncheck that box. Now, emblems, they can be worth a lot of money, and they're also worth feats a lot of times, but if you're looking to make money, then you don't want to worry about that stuff too much, as far as whether you want to keep it. Now, you can always make good money on armor, but it's the other items that drop that can be surprisingly good money. So you definitely want to make sure you're checking everything. Now there are other things that'll show up in these capsules, and a lot of times they're not tradable or they're not worth a lot of money. But again, you can be surprised, so it's always worth checking if you're not sure. Now if you don't have anything in the list worth several $million, then you might want to consider taking the quarks, because I believe it's 107 quarks and you can buy an Avatar Bombardier capsule, which we'll get into a little bit more later. And some capsules have extra quarks, like 30 quarks that you can take, which that's great if there's nothing else that you want to take for the money. Now when you open a time capsule, you do have a running clock up at the top before it expires and just gives you something out of it at random. So you want to keep an eye on that, but you can hit escape every time to get out of that menu and then L to bring it back up. So if you need to go look at the spelling of something or forgot the name of something, you can look real quick and not have to worry about losing the items. So that is a great feature. That's why I stand at the broker whenever I open a time capsule. Now here I actually get a feat from opening this because it's the 10th one of these I've opened, but it gives me an artifact which I'll go into in a minute because I'm able to sell it as well. Now here we get a sparkling Sunstone, which is an item I'm unable to find on the broker. Now you can go ahead and try and sell it at a random price, but personally I don't take them. I go with something that I know what I can get for it, because often the items can be worth just a couple $100K. Now this capsule has the option for 30 extra quarks, and that's very tempting, but you always want to check the collection, and as you see here, the collection's worth a good bit of money. Now I'm going to go check my quarks, and I actually have a pretty good amount of quarks, and I've got more capsules to open. So for this one, I'm going to take the collection because it's worth a good bit more than any of the armor I would get from the Avatar Bombardier, at least most of the time. Now these are the Avatar Bombardier capsules. They come from the Quarks vendor in the Watchtower in the Hall of Doom. The capsules cannot be sold, but the items inside them can. Now, when you open these, you get your choice of armor piece, from all your main pieces. No jewelry and no weapons, but everything else. So that's really great because you can decide what you need to level, or in this case, what you want to sell, what's bringing the best price. Now, I'm listing a pair of boots right now. You can see what they're going for. And I'm also going to show you a quick list of what I've listed already out of the stuff we've opened. So as you can see here, there's quite a few listed, and that's all good money. So it's pretty easy to make money during times like this if you can open the capsules to begin with. And the Avatar Bombardier is always good money. As you can see right now, this is worth, several $1 million, and the price does fluctuate a little bit. Now we're going to look at some items you get from your daily runs, especially right now at Birds of Prey. So if you're doing the daily open runs in there, sometimes these couple items drop, and they come from other places as well. But like this is quantum field energy. This is used for your artifacts. However, you may not want to use this to fortify an artifact if you're trying to make money, as they're worth several $1 million. Now some other things that drop are these Absorptions Hills. Now, these are only worth several hundred K a piece now, but they drop fairly often, so you can easily make $1 million off them in a couple days. So you don't overlook those as well. Now, some artifacts can also be sold on the broker if they have not been equipped, but check each artifact individually. And finally, we're going to cover seasonal base items. Now, these are the items you can get from the events like this spring event we just had. Now, all of these items were purchased this year at the spring event. They cover the last few years of spring events, but they were all purchased this year. That's one of the things about having extra characters. If you have several extra characters that can run these events, then you can, sacrifice some other playtime to run more events and get more of these items. And as you'll see, these items are worth a good bit of money. I consider 5 million to be the average for a base item, 3 million if they're one of the really unpopular ones, maybe up to 15 million if it was one of the more expensive items. But this event and the previous event have both been seeing prices up into the 20 millions on things. So these have been very good base items to make money on. But just because they're listed high doesn't mean they're always going for that. Those listed at 25 might actually only be selling at 20 or at 15 or even at 10. So you do want to kind of watch them and see what things are going for if you have the time to do that. That way you can sell them without having to pay for a relisting. Well, that's the main ways we make money in the game right now as Legendary members. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do like this kind of content, please click like and subscribe. Click the bell icon to stay notified. Leave us some comments and some suggestions. We'd love to hear from you. Well, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and until next time, happy gaming.